better. And tonight, I'm going to keep conversation down to people on the boards and not have people in the audience jump in with things. So that's what I'm going to do.
So you guys have to open your meeting too.
That's what I just told.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You guys want to call your meeting?
Yes.
And feel free, please come up and sit at the table.
On the order, it's official time? 6:01.
I'd be wise to move the chairs up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I have it. No, I probably gave it to other people by now. I've had it for over a week now. My mom always told me you can't get rid of it unless you give it to somebody.
You guys open?
We're open.
I was thinking, since Mr. Korzik's been a liaison, that he might like to pass this to him and see if he has a structure for tonight's arguments.
So, let me just say it, many of you I've talked to, one-on-one. If I haven't, at least I would like to if there's any questions, but I broke this down into, in order to be the liaison between everybody, at least a way to look at it at a 10,000-foot level. And so I think the best way to start this discussion comes from that 10,000-foot level. So there's 150 line items in that budget that Justine has passed on to us. And I found it very confusing to go over each one of them when in fact there is some similarities to some of those that we might want to group together and understand that as a single line item within the budget, but with many items underneath it. So I wanted to at least take those 150 line items and I broke them down into 9 types of costs or of expenses. And so if you haven't seen it, I put it into a pie chart like this, but I think you've seen it. I showed it to you and showed it to you. I did not get a chance to show it to you. What's that?
I have not seen.
Okay, so anyhow, this, just let me give you the 9 segments. So it's schools, administration, police, highway, insurance, general government, debt, and fire department. All right?
Can you give that to us in succession?
That was in order of
Okay,
how,
thank you.
from the largest to the smallest portion of our budget, which, let's just say that the budget ends up being $7 million. Let's just use that as a nice round number. So almost half of that is schools. The police department would be the administration of the town, which is including retirements and some insurances and things like that, becomes the second largest, police the third largest. And so just breaking those down, the one thing that's missing and that I thought might be a very important part for us to at least consider is the water pollution treatment facility, which is what Scott likes to call it, because it's representing about another $900,000 chunk of operating expenses and income that we need to be having done, at the same time, okay? Because
That is not part of one of the 9.
that's not part of what I do.
Okay.
So that would be, that if you took the water treatment facility, that would probably be equal to or a little more than the police department budget. And that police department budget is so large because in it is the new Braintree which then goes to the revenue side, so
To offset it.
to offset it. So it's
It's
a
a
bigger
pass-through.
number, but it's a pass-through. So then, if I look at the top 5 revenue generators, okay, 75% is through property taxes, 10% is through state receipts, 5% in excise taxes, 3% comes from the New Braintree Police Department reimbursement to us, or offsetting that, so that's a sizable number. And then pilots, payment in lieu of taxes. The major contributor to that would be I believe on the pilot, it would be
State?
the state of Massachusetts, right? All other revenue streams is 5%. So 75, just breaking it down, 75% is generated through raising taxes. If you look at and I think this is kind of one of those things that in the long term, we want to look at, is that 5% of revenue stream that's all other. It is worth looking at each individual, and there's some really interesting things you can gather from that. For instance, just to give you an example, water revenue is $19,300 in the budget. Water expenses is $20,000. So it would lead you to say, well, geez, we might want to increase that revenue stream by $700, at least to break even, to provide municipal water. So some of these little things could turn into fairly sizable things. So I guess the other thing that poked me in the eye was investments. Probably the smallest pie of all. So whatever we've got our money in, the money that we generate as investment is really small, really small. And it would make you wonder, where is that investment money coming from, and is there a better way to leverage it? It might help us pay for some of these expenses that we're going to be talking about today in these 9 sections. It may come to the fact that might save one particular budget line item if we can find a better understanding of that revenue stream. So that's where we are. And I think if I remember this right, one of the things that would be best beneficial for us all, since the way I understand you've put the latest figures together, you have highlighted on that those items on the budget that have not been firmed up, and the school is a perfect example of that. And the New Braintree reimbursement is also a good example of that, so that we can look at something that is going to be okay to look at. It's first pass is what Justine put together. The second pass would be something that we would want to at least look at and say, okay, let's hear what makes up that number. So the police department is here today. It is the second largest next to schools, and schools, of course, it's not here yet. We don't have a number for the schools. So the best thing to do is, if we could look at the police department budget, because it's been firmed up at Justine's level. I'm assuming that Justine got those numbers from the police department. So the question is, can we review it to understand it? And then we can do the same thing with administration, because a lot of that Justine's got a pretty good handle on, and she can explain it to us. There may be some questions and some comments that we want, but I think that would be the first pass that we'd like to look at. So that's where I stand. I am no longer the liaison after today. I can't.
You just don't want to talk one-on-one with me. Right?
Oh, yeah, I do, I really, no, I don't mind doing it, if that's the chairman of the,
I'd rather have everything in public meeting.
sure, right,
Discussion so the public can see it.
sure.
From this moment forward.
Yeah, that's all right with me too, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So you want to start with the police budget?
well, it's gonna turn it back over to you, and I think that's, we'll have that discourse on the individual line items if we're interested in going over the line items.
Okay.
I have some questions on revenue, sir.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm looking at prior year levy limit, prior year amendment growth. Subtotal for that, 2.5 times the new growth adjustment.
2.5%?
Yeah, 2.5%.
Not 2.5 times.
No,
Okay,
2.5%, right? The debt exclusion, the maximum levy, what the cherry sheet actually are.
Mhm.
Estimated local receipts, any capital improvement funds, free cash, stabilization funds, and any new fee funds as our total basket or bucket for revenue. All right.
Yeah, that is a topic that has to come up. I mean, we need to look at that number because it's the denominator, if I understand this right. I mean, when you're looking at whether you got a balance not on the balance sheet type, but if you're looking at it the way normally you look at it, the numerator and the denominator is income, the numerator is expenses.
All right, well, one area I'm concerned about is we potentially have a solar payment coming this year by like December, because we signed that solar lease.
Kearsarge,
Yes.
the array.
So I'm wondering how that revenue, is that just set aside?
No,
Because, and this is, so where is it? Is it for going strictly into capitalization?
no, that is miscellaneous revenue, in the revenue projections.
Okay, but we're not using it to fund this budget.
No,
Okay, I'm verifying that,
Yeah.
because that's
It's in the-
$100,000
I didn't see it in there
that
either. I thought about that
we
too.
might or might not get.
and do you want to see the cherry sheet?
Sure.
You just have to be patient for it. It's
Well,
not
that's what I'm
coming
saying,
this year.
because we don't want to be funding reoccurring, like,
So,
services and on a payment that we potentially have or don't have.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean?
I think one of the, for me at least, the revenue stream is a very important one. I don't think we know enough about it yet to be able to say that, I don't know if those are fixed, but if you'd like them to be fixed, and if they change, we want to make sure we're not changing the denominator just because we want the numerator to be bigger.
so when I estimate, sorry, I have no voice, I apologize. When I estimate revenue for next year,
Yeah.
I do look at the miscellaneous non-reoccurring, so that's where that's plugged in.
Okay.
I look at, building permits, I look at, to your point, I look at investments, which we are actually seeing an increase this year, because our money market accounts and our general fund was sitting so low, and now we're actually earning interest. So that's all built in there as well. We're actually, we've been incurring like a few $1,000s a month now in interest on our accounts, which we weren't as of last year. The $10,000 that I built in last year for administrative costs, that's also built into the revenue.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and the breakdown is on the spreadsheet that I sent you electronically. It's the second tab where you can see last year compared to this year.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
so maybe my confusion on that is I was looking at local receipts, and fiscal year '25 was $1,086,000.
Yeah.
Then fiscal year 2026 was $1,086,000. And then 2027 was $1,187,000. And I just want to make sure that 100,000 is not going to be funding the budget.
No,
That's,
okay.
so that way we, in 2028, we don't have a shortfall if there's nothing else coming.
Right.
Okay.
It's like hiring a full-timer on a grant, because the grant dies and,
Well, there's no guarantee we're even gonna get the 100.
right.
I think we need to poke all of the individual items on the revenue side, but I think we also need to start working on those 150 line items, so we can at least get an idea.
No, I get it, but I want clarity.
Yeah.
How do we do this, and also free cash? Because all this comes back down, because like right now, there's free cash of 75,000.
71.
But we spent 39,000 on a cruiser.
No.
Are we gonna finance it?
Mr. Chair, do you want?
Go ahead.
So we have 71,000 in free cash, right?
Yeah.
The other half of the cruiser is coming from capital stabilization.
Okay,
And then we have our regular stabilization, which has over 300,000 in it.
okay. And didn't you mention you wanna like finance the cruiser
Yeah.
versus take it out?
Yeah.
That's
And-
done. That's already
Yeah,
done.
but can we still do that?
No.
Well, why
I
not?
thought we couldn't because you have to, in order to finance it, you'd have to have the title to the car.
Right.
And you can't finance it, you won't get it. The grant requires you to have the title in order to loan the money.
I know Chris had mentioned he wanted to
Yeah.
take that cost
We had this
out of
problem
the
with the-
operating budget.
We had the
So
same problem with
that's
the
why I'm
previous
asking.
cruiser, I think.
Okay.
Right, chief? That's true?
Yes, because we get in the grant money to do
Right.
it.
But no, I understand that part of it. I was just wondering if we could possibly juggle it around since we still had a little time before now and June 30th.
Well, we've got 3 months.
Mr. Chair, The way the town meeting vote was, it has to come out of capital stabilization, there's no other way. Because that's the way the town meeting vote was.
Yeah, it's too bad that we used up all those funds, because
Right.
it's gonna limit our ability to do other capital projects.
Okay.
And there's a few.
Yeah, and if we had known that going, in, we may have done something different. But, you know, when I talked to Justine and the chief in December, that's we all agreed that's what we were gonna do, and it didn't happen that way, so.
All right. Apologies. You know, we'll do better next time. So, all right, that's all I had on the revenue bucket, so.
There'll be more.
Okay.
Anybody else? Are we each gonna take a piece of this and go home and noodle it and try to
I would say,
investigate?
couldn't we deal with the police department's budget, that part of the pie, so that we all understand it? And
You
if this-
guys be up for that, chief?
I can give you a preliminary, I didn't come fully prepared to go everything, but I can give you a preliminary.
Would you like to
Justine
come
could
up here?
explain each, yeah,
Yeah.
and he could support it, I guess.
I'm really sorry I sound like this.
I have one question, just a general question, when I look at these 100 items. I just want to ask whether or not, it looks like in 2025 it was $22,000, in 2026 it was, 24 it was this. It's the same amount of money. Do we ever use actuals to set a budget?
So
Or
what-
do we just roll, ask for the same amount of money?
So if you look in your book, I have the 25 actuals, and then 26, obviously, we're still in, so I don't have the actuals, and then there's the 27. So if you
So
look in your
this,
book.
this chart doesn't show actuals.
No,
It-
that's just what was budgeted at town meeting.
So I have to go to.
Yeah.
I have a file I can send you. I think it's the 20, you can send them the 2025 audit of all the actual expenses.
The audit,
Yeah.
we're doing the audit now.
No, I said 2025's audit.
Yeah, that's.
All right, try 2024's, I'm
I
sorry.
can, you want me to send it to you?
In here.
Actuals.
Everyone,
Well, in the,
Have it,
in
but I
the
can-
tabs.
board
said
and
in this
FinCom,
I can send
please.
it.
That'd be great.
No problem.
Expenditures, salaries.
And also the fiscal year
Actual.
2026 actual versus expenses,
You mean
with the
year to
variance.
date?
Year to date,
Because we're still in it, so I don't have like,
right. I have February's, through
That's fine.
February's. But it was the beginning of February, so it's probably through January, so once she closes out February, if you can
I have
send
it.
that, you have that.
No,
Okay.
wait, but I can send it out tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic.
Then you have it, send it.
And just send it to copy everyone.
No problem.
Thank you.
So just to be clear to your question,
So I'm
the
looking-
actuals are in the tabs. If you turn the tab, you'll get the actual, you will not find the actuals in this budget sheet of 150 line items.
But if you have any specific questions, I might actually
So
have it
I
on
guess, a real good question. So in
Okay.
2025, we spent $39,000 on repair and fuel. Then we set a budget of $47,000 for 2026. $47,000 is requested for 2027 and recommended. Where's the,
Here, look at
you
this.
know, history that supports adding $10,000? But again, it's, because we're working on 27 budget, so I wonder how did 26 come up? We have those
We're
numbers.
in 26.
We're in 26.
Bill, do you want to go?
So do we have an
I
estimate? of
do
what-
have one, I don't.
Warren, you're talking
Thank
about
you.
my fuel
And I have
line
your tab.
I'm just picking anything that has like,
So I can tell you exactly to the penny what I spent right this second.
got it.
So the last warrant in fuel, I spent $8,927.
$8,927.
The last warrant, so the last warrant cycle, which would have been $225. And that was $8,927. So I looked at that today, in the last 4 years, I average $18,000 in fuel.
I also have year-to-date with me until February 10th too, so.
And
any
what do we have in the
questions?
budget?
47,000.
So it's 25,000 for fuel, Mark, that's been in there since
Fuel?
2020.
It says expenditures, police repair and fuel.
Yep.
So it's repairs,
Yeah,
so
it's-
yeah.
It's both in that line item. So there's 21,000 for repair and there was 25,000 for fuel. That 25,000 for fuel's been sitting there since about 2020, when the fuel prices started fluctuating. That's when they put it in there. I didn't go back to 2020. I know when we were in that area, we were spending about 24,000. As the prices have come down, it's about 18, 19,000 is about our average.
And that just changes along with the market.
Yeah, it's market price. It's state bid, but it fluctuates with the market. So my actual budget for the town of Hardwick for fiscal '26 is $650,500. It is
657?
$650,507.76.
It's not 900,000 is what he's saying.
The
Well,
900,
I have right here of 675, 463, so that's why I'm asking.
I'm showing 650 on mine, on my sheet.
Yeah, this is a common problem we have, so.
Okay.
Do you have a similar number, or?
I have the 675.
He has 675.
463.
No, that's what I'm requesting for fiscal '27.
Yeah, that's fiscal.
So I'm saying my
27. He's
fiscal
talking about
'26,
Oh,
my
he's talking about
current
26.
operating budget,
Is 650. I
Yes.
get
All
it.
right,
Sorry.
650, 507.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
76, got it.
it is not $900,000. The
It's
$900,000,
fiscal year 27,
But-
with Braintree.
it
Next year's
includes
budget.
the town of New Braintree, and there's an in and an out. For taxation purposes for this town, my fiscal '26 operating budget is only
Yeah.
$650,000.
That's
Right.
New
Yeah.
Braintree, so that
Exactly.
adds up.
Okay.
Exactly. Now, the reason why it comes out that way is because they put it into the revenue stream.
This is what we're in now.
So
Yeah.
to make it offset it, we have to make that note.
Yes.
It's an in and an out. So
Right.
in 3 months, the town of New Braintree can say, we're done. That money then doesn't come in anymore.
That's why it's important to have the two numbers separated.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's why it's always been separated.
You look at
for
the,
that
you look at
reason.
the impact of your
Exactly.
decision will affect two numbers.
Correct.
One is this expense and the other is the revenue side.
Correct.
Not
And
numerator and denominator, so
Yeah.
this is perfect the way we should do it.
and the revenue side of New Braintree is gonna change once New Braintree okays it.
Once New
Right
Braintree,
now, we have
it'll
level
match
funding.
the numbers. So the numbers that New Braintree pays is exactly what Hardwick pays. There is no loss to the town of Hardwick at all.
That's
It
why,
covers everything.
that's why it's in yellow, because I just copied from last year, because I have no idea, they haven't even really
Right,
started
but
the budget.
I'm just looking at the
Yeah.
revenue, it's level funding right
Yes.
now, it's whatever this
Correct.
year was, it's this, for fiscal year 27, but there'll be a little bit of an adjustment.
There will be.
Yes,
And it
that's
will
all I'm
match,
saying.
yes,
Yeah.
and the bill will 100%
Yep.
match what the town is saying that they're gonna get in.
Right.
The only time it does increase,
Mm-hmm.
where you might get a little bit more, is if payroll taxes and stuff are more than what they estimated. The town of New Braintree still pays Hardwick for all the taxes and stuff that they pay. So it might be actually a little bit more than what is budgeted for. It's always more, not less.
Right, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Nice question.
Well, it actually has less to do with the police than some of the other stuff, like we still have a $40,000 copier thing in there or something.
That's IT,
IT,
IT in general, yeah.
Yeah.
in general.
yeah, in general.
But didn't that go down?
No, it did not
We'll get to
actually.
that.
and if I may, my current operating budget where I'm sitting at right now, just about every single one of my line items is at 63%, which is where I should be at this point in my budget.
Right,
So everything is right on target of what we budgeted for and where we
Yeah.
are.
right.
It just shows you're managing your budget.
We are,
Yeah.
and I mean, in all my years, I don't think we've ever gone outside the budget without going to you guys saying, we have an emergency and we have a problem. We need your help.
Fantastic.
So
Thank
this budget funded by the town of Hardwick funds 5 full-time police officers,
Okay,
okay? And that funds them. The New Braintree budget funds 2 full-time police officers. But for this town's purposes, it funds 5.
okay.
Kevin, can you elaborate a little bit more on what the distribution of those 5 are for the people that haven't had the same conversation?
So the 5 officers gives you 24/7 coverage, 1 officer shift. So that gives you 24/7, 365, 1 officer on the road at all hours. The offset with New Braintree gives us the ability to add 1 officer on day shift, 1 officer on eve shift, to have 2 officers when someone's not on vacation. Basically, the overtime line item covers holidays. So when the guys work their holiday, they get time of half, of course, by law, so that they're in working. I would say, off the top of my head, about 85% of our overtime is just covering holiday shifts. The others will do, if an officer's on vacation, it'll backfill that officer to maintain our one officer on 24/7.
And I guess just the only thing that, the footnote here should be, should you have an accident or taking the officer out of the picture, like it happened a few years ago.
Yes.
You had to come to the finance committee to be able to cover the overtime cost that you were going to incur.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't want to jinx myself. That is the problem with a small town. We don't have, and I want to say the extra manpower, but God forbid something happens, and it does affect us dramatically when one goes down.
Do you have other wages, salaries, matrons?
So we still have 2 matrons, and we have 1 part-time officer that works occasionally. With law enforcement reform in 2020, part-time officers went away. There are no more part-time officers. They have to be full-time trained. They have to maintain full-time training that I have to maintain as a full-time police officer. So the old days of being able to have, I think when I started there was 15 of us part-time, that's long gone. Because the cost to maintain one of them is the same as maintaining a full-time person now. The same 40 hours of training and everything that we're required to do.
Okay.
Chief, there's a new line item this year, pensionable stipends.
So all that is under my salary. So my salary is a base, the base salary is theirs, the 109, which is what my contract says. That next line item is what my college degree in longevity would be, just to show the difference of what it was that if Jim was here, he would have been getting the same thing. And now that I'm here with a master's, that's what it is.
Okay, so so add the 109 and the 14 is your salary.
Yes.
It's just to be more transparent.
All right, so it's
All right, so
roughly 124, 125 a year?
Yep.
Okay.
So the matrons don't get paid
They get-
stipend?
No, they do get paid if they come out.
Okay.
So only if we call them out. Ryan, what are we averaging? Maybe 3 or 4 a year?
Yeah, not a lot.
It's female arrests are not a majority of our calls.
And your full-timer who's really part-time, he works other outfits as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a budget line item for that particular?
So we used to, if you all remember, we had a part-time line item. And last year when we met with finance and the select board, it was decided to just put it all in the overtime account because it wasn't as much of a use anymore because they weren't being used. So it's coming out of that account.
Okay.
Chief, there's two lines that had money in 25 that don't have money anymore. Is that something that was changed, the police reserve wages and the police?
That's the one we
pension?
were just talking about, Warren, where I had all the part-timers before and we got rid of them. That line item back in the day was like $58,000.
So that's a savings. right?
It is, at this point now it is, yes.
And the only other thing I noticed on here that takes a big jump is Hardwick building maintenance goes from 10 to 25. Is a different,
No, sir. It's 10 on mine.
Building expense 402 Lower Road, you refer?
Hardwick building maintenance expense, $10,000 here, but it's 25 over here, under the TA recommended.
It should not be. It should be 10,000. It was level funded.
Okay.
Right.
And that's the Streeter building.
Yes.
And then
It's wrong.
The tab was wrong,
Yeah.
on the tabs, yeah.
we have one line item, it's police expense.
Yes.
And it's, this year is 27,000,
Yep.
next year is gonna be 28,000.
So that 28 is if we had an amazing year and we had some free funds, is what I had said that, I would like that so that we had some leeway because there is no, like I say, by June 30th, I'm out. We've expended everything. And we're not just buying toys or anything like that. It's just operating costs. Otherwise, I'm just requesting a level funded expense for this coming year.
Well, what exactly is in this expense?
So the expense actually
Like a-
covers just about all our operating. So my report software, the RMS that runs everything,
Okay,
that maintenance now is $6,600 a year. That comes out of there. The fingerprint machine is $2,800 a year. I split that with New Braintree. So we're still talking about $1,400 about there. It comes out of there. The body cameras are coming out of there now. We had to replace the body cameras this year. Ours failed. We had to go to new ones. I worked with Motorola. I got them for basically half price. I'm in a 5-year program with them. Year 3, I'll get brand new cameras and we can lock in a new price and move forward.
How much is a camera?
So the cameras are $4,800 a year with cloud storage.
Each one is 48?
No, $4,800 for the 8 of them.
Got it. Thanks.
So and that gives me my cloud storage, because before, what do you call it? You're not a computer person, the internal
Server?
server.
Okay.
It had a server and a backup that we were just maintaining that
Yep.
scared the heck out of me because it had all our videos. But our body cameras finally failed, so that's also part of that expense. Trying to think of some of the other big ticket items.
Oh, no, well, I was just,
Yeah.
just so people understood
Yeah.
what's in expense
Yeah.
versus just a line item expense.
Yep, so
That's
that
all.
covers all the day-to-day operational
Right.
costs of our department, like the licensing for a lot of our software for the state.
Right.
We have
subscriptions
service,
and all that.
yes, those are almost $1,000 a subscription a year,
Yep.
depending on those and what ones we're using.
Mhm.
A lot of that too, I do split with New Braintree as much as we can, so anything that we can say is both towns can use, and we'll split the cost between the two.
Okay, great.
How often do you have to replace the vests?
The vests are at a 4-year cycle is what they are. So that $3,000 has been in there forever. That covers my ability to replace 2 vests a year, basically. It's about a vest and a half a year. And it's not like a shareable item. The best way to describe vest is like someone's underwear. You're wearing it against your body, it's sweaty, it's yours, and it's sized and fitted for you. So that keeps that going. And then we can apply to the state to get reimbursement in from the federal government. Sometimes we get reimbursement, sometimes we don't. And then if we do, it just goes into a reimbursement account, and then that year, I'll buy a vest out of there, and then the town gets their money back. I don't just spend it, they would just get
Okay.
that back that year.
Kevin, there are a number of things that you sent to the capital planning, and I just want to so we just touch the subjects. The next cruiser that you would have to replace would be when?
2 to 3 years.
Okay, and then New Braintree would be replacing one in between then? Is that usually
So
the
the way
case?
New Braintree does it is every 3 years they replace one of their 2 cars. So they are just on a lease, and as soon as it hits that,
Okay.
they just do it, and then they cycle it to fire or highway.
Okay, police computer server replacement?
So it's something we're gonna have to watch. That server was purchased with the federal funds in 2022, I believe, is when they bought all the computers. I'm told about $7,000 to $10,000 for a server, and that I have to have a standalone one for federal and state rules that no one else goes
So
into.
that's not in this budget?
No,
Right. That would be a separate budgetable item?
it would be.
Okay, and not anticipated for 2020?
I would say probably another 3 or 4 years. That is an item, though, that is on my grant list, because there is a grant that I can put in.
Did you put in for, during the IT grant? Did you put it into that?
I can put it in that one, because then we can show it's out of date. So yes, it can go in that one, and there's a police one that I can put in for it through, yes.
Okay, all right.
Oh, don't hesitate to interrupt on this.
Yeah.
Breathalyzer replacement.
So we're not worrying about that right now. The one that's there is great, and it's state-owned, so I'm not worried about it.
But it's at the office.
It's at the office, yes.
Laptops for cruisers.
So I'm not worrying about that. That was originally put on, Mark. My plan to start doing is, those laptops are only 2 years old, 3 years old at this point. What I'd like to do is just start making sure once a year I start replacing one in the next few years, and just take it right out of my operational budget.
Perfect. Taser replacement.
Yeah, we bought those with free cash 4 years ago? 3 or 4, yeah. Taser will tell you there's a lifespan of 4 years.
I was gonna say, you had here a 5-year
Yeah,
lifespan.
they'll
4
tell
years.
you that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm not gonna come to you until I need to replace
Okay.
those.
Well, just, again, for the purposes of
Yeah.
You know, so that when somebody says you got a budget,
Yeah.
there is also things that we chose not to put in the budget that everybody needs to understand. That goes to capital planning and obviously to the police commissioners when that becomes an issue. So,
And that's one that, once, we're a year plus out, I'll let everyone know we got a concern, we're gonna start having a look at this.
and we already talked about body worn camera.
Yep.
Long range duty weapon replacement.
So about every 15 years, I'm not, again, worrying about that, because my plan would be moving forward is just one a year, start buying it out of the operational budget, and just slowly start cycling them through.
Duty rifle replacement.
They're about the same.
Mhm.
Luckily, we're not in a city where we're having these issues, so I'm not as
Right.
concerned.
Radio replacement,
Excuse
portable
me,
and.
wait,
Oh, go ahead.
that, you were talking about handguns the first time and then rifles, okay.
Both, yeah, because they're both handgun. I can
One at a
purchase.
time.
Yes, and I can purchase a handgun for about $450 is without this optics and the other parts of it. And then the rifles, they're running me about $1,300. So it's one of those that I can say to you guys, hey, this year I know I'm going to be buying this.
Radio replacements, portable and cruiser radios.
Yeah, that's something we are going to have to watch as a whole town because that's actually a fire issue too. Our radios are $10,000 a piece. It's to be on the state 800 system.
Fire only has one.
Fire has 2 now.
Okay, two.
They are going to need to move over there shortly, but I'll let Nick deal with that side. I'm comfortable right now because 2 years ago I just bought 3 out of a grant and didn't have to come to you guys for the money. That will be my ultimate goal is I'll try to get 1 or 2 out of that federal grant that comes out every 2 years. If I see an issue with that, I'm going to come to you guys and say we're going to have to start long range looking at maybe doing 1 or 2 a year here and there.
I just wanted to put in a commercial for the capital
Capital
planning,
planning.
which is if you don't think that we cover these things or we talk about these things, the good news is we're talking it around as a board, so there's no surprises. You understand what's in and what's not. But we spend a lot of time on this and we get a lot of good cooperation from Kevin on that.
Great, this is on YouTube tonight, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recording.
So you're giving your sales pitch to the whole community?
I need more work, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, but you're getting attaboys now.
And if you don't mind, like I even just want to touch on like the uniform account. It's been level funded for years, and I'm still fine with that. But that's just replacement of our equipment, shirts, pants. One of our uniform shirts is $113. Our pants can go from 110 to 140. If you want fleece for the winter, fleece lined, they're $145. I mean, our winter coats are $538. So,
Are they flame proof?
I wish they were, they're not.
They're not flame proof?
You put police fire on anything, the cost triples. And they always do that to you. But that's where that money goes, is to replace their equipment as they rip shirts or things, because unfortunately our stuff does not last the lifespan of a number, my shirts from high school that I'm still wearing. You can't unfortunately do that with our stuff, it just gets too worn and torn.
I have a question for you, Chief.
Yep.
The clerk's salary,
Yep.
I see she's only going up 2%.
Yep.
Okay.
That was just, at department head meeting, we were told just a budget, 2%.
Right,
So
I
that's-
just wanted to put
Yeah.
the number out there. It's 2%. And is it a part-time position?
It is.
Is it 19 hours a week?
It is, it's 19 hours a week right now.
Okay.
It used to be 25, and we've just slowly reduced it, moved
Okay.
money to other line items to offset things.
Is that enough though to?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Just-
All the officers step up and help with all that stuff in regards to even license to carries. Like the
Okay.
clerk enters them, the sergeant and the lieutenant process them,
Mhm.
approve them. So everyone does their part to make sure that that works.
Okay, I just
Yep.
wanted to ask. that's all.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for the info.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I hate to
Very
say it,
helpful.
This is the way it should be.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the way we should be doing it.
I will take anyone for ride-alongs. I'll put them out in the cruisers. I want people to see. We are loved to be hated. We know that. We get that. That's part of our job. But I'll take anyone out on a ride-along, let them see what we do and what we cover and how things are. see our call numbers and how we're handling things. I mean, last year we had a high number of sexual assaults for us. Each one alone averages 20 to 25 hours of investigation, whether it's going forward or not. So there's a lot of stuff that just adds up, and unfortunately too, what the public sees in the public logs is not always what we're doing, because certain things cannot be published by law. We cannot put domestic violence out there. You cannot put sexual assaults out there. You cannot put juvenile crimes out there. So that's all stuff that does not get published because we can't by law.
Okay. But does that go in your total call log?
It does go in my total numbers that you see.
Okay.
But in the actual that you see in the paper or on the website,
Right.
those are redacted by meeting Mass General
Right.
Law.
Okay. And over the years, has the calls gone up? Have they stayed steady, or have they
We've been about the
fluctuated?
same. We've been about the same for, I'd say, 5-ish years, Ryan, 6-ish years. We've been pretty steady since right after COVID. We stayed where we were. Obviously, during COVID, it was beyond low for everyone. But we've been about steady from there on.
How many calls?
So total, everything that we do for you guys is about $12,000 a year. That includes everything that we have to touch. So we have to take a phone call and deal with a domestic violence question. That's a call. If we're going to a tree down, that's a call because we have to go there and do it. Like today we had a tree down, my officer sat there for 45 minutes helping highway. So anything that requires us to do something, it gets a call. If you just call in and say, hey, I need to do my LTC, that's not a call. But anything that actually requires us to do police work or document something moving forward, that is a call for service for us.
Okay.
And you'll see too, property check stuff, the proactive things. So the officers on the overnight doing directed patrols. I don't want to publicize how I approach that, but there's directed patrols that they are required to do on all their shifts.
Checking door handles.
Exactly. Finding vehicles that are out of business. Why is a vehicle out of business at 2 o'clock in the morning? So they're finding things like that. In Gilbertville, you'll actually notice, and Wheelwright, the officers on the overnight drive around with their cruise lights on. So that's the blue steady lights on their car, just so that people can see that they're up and down the streets and checking things. I had a woman call me and ask me why every night the cruiser drives by her house with the blue lights on. So I had to explain that, it's the officer being proactive, checking your area and making sure that you guys are safe.
Right, excellent.
And you still do medical emergencies?
Yep, we go to every
respond to
medical
those.
call with the ambulances. Off the top of my head, 350 ambulance calls in Hardwick.
354.
Was it 354? I couldn't remember off the top of my head. I know I gave it to you the other
Sorry.
day.
I'm pretty sure it was 254.
Yeah, so we do go to every ambulance call and stand by for the ambulance. So 2-3 in the morning, we're the first ones there. I'm going to jump back to the structure fire 2 years ago on Lower Road. My officer was there in 1 minute and 35 seconds pulling the woman out of the burning house. So that's just part of what we do.
And you do render first aid or whatever you need to do.
Yep,
when
we
you-
are all
when
first
you're there.
responders to the next higher level, so we can perform the CPR. We have AEDs, we have Narcan, we have EpiPens. We carry everything that we might need till that ambulance gets there for the most part to be able. We have OB kits, we have burn kits. We carry a giant jump bag that just has anything that we might need to be able to render aid until that ambulance gets there.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Thank you.
Good job, Chief.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did great here, just kind of without planning, huh?
That was not planned. I should not have gone over anything tonight with you also.
Cool, calm, under pressure, that's good.
Well, I do have another statistic that I kind of developed in the last 24 hours. So to prepare us for the inevitable school increase, I'll share with you what I was able to pick up for information.
This is the minimum that we're required to fund per the state, is $10,500 per student. Yeah, bare minimum.
Yeah. So the important.
Well, I'm just,
That is true.
it's true, that's the law.
Absolutely, yeah, right.
Putting it out there.
The number of students in the Quabbin Regional District, and I hope I've got it here somewhere. We have a net increase, and I might have it in
Of
schools.
17.
Of 17, but I would like to point out, let me just get
But over the
this.
last,
17 students?
yes.
Additional 17 students, right.
But over the last 3 years, we had a negative 6 students now.
So the entire district is -7. We're +17. So Barry goes up by 1 student, Hubbardston goes down by 15 students, New Braintree goes down by 16 students, Ocam goes up by 6. We go up by 17. All right, so I found a very interesting statistic in the annual town report. 20 births last year. Those aren't in that number.
No.
So if we want to look forward, if there were 20 births in Hardwick, I don't know how many will end up in the school system by pre-K, right? Pre-K is the first grade.
Yeah.
You gotta think about what that means. Now, in the meantime, we're gonna have a disproportionate share of the school budget because we're going up, and it's always assessed to us by dollars per student. We're going up by 17, the district's going down by 6. And in last fiscal year, we had 20 additional children born in Hardwick.
Right, so that would be good reason to have a 5-year plan and start projecting these numbers and start budgeting for these numbers.
It's going to be very interesting to see what our share is going to be this year.
So we're gonna have a good discussion with the school system, it seems like.
Yeah. So anyhow, while we can't talk about it now because we don't have the numbers.
Right.
I think just prepare yourself for that statistical fact, and then we can go from there. So
Right.
I would say we can't talk about schools tonight.
No,
We did cover the police budget, I thought, real good.
So, Mark, do you mind if I just interject quickly? Just for a placeholder, you'll see on your sheet, it's in yellow, because it's gonna change the school budget. But just for a placeholder, I just did a 6% increase. So that's what that figure is, just as a placeholder in the budget.
okay. Okay. Do you know what that number is off the top of your head?
It's right here.
Like, no, is it 100,000, is it
That's the
150,000?
school. They have to give us they have to decide what.
No,
So you want
I'm
me just
saying
to do
what
the
that's, Well, what's the number?
I can tell you.
all
It's
right.
right here.
Because I'm just saying, like, if we took the 17, we did it by, I know 10,500 is the lowest we have to go, that's 170,000.
Yeah, it's $180,000.
Okay, all right.
Increase.
And that's what we did and that's what's budgeted right now over the previous budget.
Okay,
Right?
right, yeah,
170,000, yeah, exactly.
right.
So, and that's our best guess, but that was in a year when we were more proportional to the rest of the other towns.
No, I understand that.
Now,
but-
the overall district is going down, we're going up, so we got a greater proportion
Exactly.
of the budget.
And that's only just so we prepare ourselves, if the estimate is low, you'll know why.
Yeah.
That's all, I bring that out. And as Bill points out, if you've got 20 births, and we can look, it's just an interesting statistic
Yeah.
that you could pull from. If you looked at your annual town report, you might be able to pull the last 3 years and actually see what that tip of that iceberg is going to be as we progress each year.
We can get all those numbers from the town clerk, no
Absolutely,
problem.
absolutely, and probably from all the other towns too. Right now,
Right, but
yeah.
even still,
They're in the reports.
you're taking an education guess, like,
Mm-hmm.
are they gonna go to private school, are they gonna go to this school?
Yeah, you don't know.
Certain
Right.
percentage.
Are they gonna homeschool?
Right, right.
I mean, there's all these options.
Well, you also
today.
don't, you have the other unknown is that you have an apartment complex and they rent out and they bring a disproportionate number of children into it. That affects the number. And that may very well be what happened in this coming year, is that you have people moving into town that are bringing children, and it's gonna increase and we have no foresight of that. We don't know who's gonna rent an apartment in town, so you could actually see this number jump up by surprise like it did on us this year.
Right.
Yeah, family moves into town.
Yeah, right,
Takes
exactly.
an apartment, and they have 6 kids.
Do we have a rough ballpark of when the school's gonna finalize their budget?
Funny.
No, timeline.
I know there's another meeting coming up, but they do like several iterations of it.
Yeah, because they need some input from the state anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, that's the
Waiting for
problem.
state aid.
But last year, they gave us like 3 different budgets by the time we got to town meeting. We were on like their 3rd budget.
Okay.
So, do we know when that number, that, say, 10,500 per student, there's no additional other costs to the town for the school, or is there any other additional, is it just a set number to say 10,000 per person covers everything they do at the school system? Is there any?
I think that, I
That's
believe
the
you.
bare minimum.
That's a bare minimum, I'm saying, but I mean, is,
That's without state reimbursement,
Right.
right?
if we look at that, there's no other ones that come along, other charges per students or per
It might
things
be
that.
on this, on the school budget.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
so they'll have the same like cost of living increases. They're gonna have the same crazy increases with insurance. So not only is it per student, but there might be like a 2%.
And that's what I guess I was asking, so if there's an increase in insurance, is that a charge per student typically? Is that how they formula?
No, they just give us one assessment.
Yeah, so what they'll do is they'll put their budget out,
Yeah.
$45 million, and they'll divide it by the number of kids in the school system, and that's the per cost per student, so it's like $21,000. They get chapter 90, is it chapter
70.
Chapter 70 funds, so whatever the state, the amount of the state funds, we have to fund the difference. So if the state comes down, we're funding more, if the state funds more, we fund less. But there's no control over their budget, so they can spend as what they want, how they want to do it, and they assess us the difference.
Right, and at a town meeting, if I understand this right, you cannot pick a line item in the school budget. You must approve the school budget or disapprove the school budget.
Right.
It's up or down.
It's up or down.
And they'll put in a budget early on, and then the next budget that they present is $1 million less, and they'll say they cut $1 million. But of course, who knows, you know?
Well, they increase it $3 million, and they,
Right, and then they back it off again, so,
it's a game they play.
yeah.
Sure. Just for the total projected population at that regional school system is 1,858 students.
1,500 kids.
Just so you guys know too, we have 26 kids that go to Pathfinder.
Is that up or down?
It's level.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
good, that's good.
No other trade schools?
Not that we're assessed for. I don't think.
Sometimes Smith,
I was gonna say Smith, or
once Essex, I think, one time ago.
so we're not Monty Tech, our kids would
No.
go to Monty Tech,
No,
they
no,
would
no.
Pathfinder.
But they could opt to do that.
I was gonna say,
And then we
is there
would
such
get
a
an
thing as
assessment.
school choice if they felt that?
No, the Quabbin gets the school choice before.
But for a trade school,
I
the
think if it wasn't
student gets a
offered-
choice of which trade school.
Yeah, but
they
and
go
it
to.
all goes through Quabbin, that's part of the whole budget
It does go
process.
through their
Yeah.
because it's a separate budget line item for Pathfinder.
So so the superintendent at Quabbin has to like approve it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, so there's reasons so school choice, Quabbin wants school choice in, because they get more money for the kids coming in. And kids going out, they have to pay more money going out, so
Yep.
they want school choice in, not school choice out.
So I guess the question, would it burden us if somebody in Hardwick, and I'm gonna use this, and I don't know if any other schools offer, let's say for ag, wanted to go to Smith Voc for agricultural.
So that
That
we
if
would
they,
get assessed.
let's say if Pathfinder doesn't offer that, I don't know if they do, but if they didn't offer that, we would
Cover it.
We have
have
to
to cover it.
Hold your breath, Glenn.
Okay.
Well, and that's something the Quabbin Regional School is kicking around right now, is potential agriculture.
Having something that's not
Yeah.
offered.
Yeah.
but Smith and
But it's still
Essex
planned.
and then
It
if
wasn't that
there's-
long ago, they had these trades in a lot of the schools,
Mm-hmm.
most of them. Not to the degree they probably haven't. But
Look what Leicester's doing. They're doing like all sorts of trades now, Leicester.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I do have a hard stop in like 15 minutes.
Well, I think we got a lot done, a lot more than we planned.
Yeah.
How do you want to go about our next meeting? Did we bring in highway?
I would bring in highway, and I would probably, if we can, you don't have to go through the introductory thing, also look at the administrative costs for the town.
That's a big chunk.
And, you know, if anybody needs what that, in my words, because some of this is, you know, Worcester retirement's in there, we want to talk about that, it's 392,000. Sure, I can, yeah.
so then we can think about it.
Yeah, right,
So
Yeah,
you
I'd like
talk
to have
total
that.
general government
Can you email?
number.
yeah, if you bring your email address.
And right now, I have that number
You can send it.
As-
Well, all I'm telling you in the witness protection act.
$795,000.
Say again?
The number
That's
for
why I
general
can't contact
government
you.
is
Just joking.
$795,696.55.
Why did
Gonna be
you
a
have
lot
to
of
get
little
together? I
items.
didn't have your number. She gave it to me just the other day. I didn't have a chance to do anything.
So that's what, that'll be a long meeting. And are Wednesdays good for everybody kind of
Typically.
looking forward?
Sometimes.
So, just since next week, next meeting, we're gonna be going over the general government, would you be able to go these items on expense? Like treasurer, it says treasurer expense, and right, it was $3,500. And then IT services and office equipment. It's projected at 40,000, last year was budgeted at 38,000.
I have,
Can we break, like, information out, like, what is, because I saw one item, like, 15,000 for an expense, and I'm wondering, what is it? Like,
explain most of them.
Yeah,
Trying to answer.
I can explain most of them, and I actually broke out some of them, probably not every one you're looking for, but I broke out the last 3 or 4 years.
all right.
So we can take a look
I
at.
think the best thing is we would expect that we'd be able to get the same kind of information that the police chief gave us today. So, I mean, that was a great example of
Of
what
expense,
what
like an
helps
expense
us
line.
understand that number so we can move on.
Hopefully I can talk,
Okay,
because I can't.
so like with IT, I'd like to break out, what is the software, what is the subscription? Like, are we
Yeah.
paying for town accountant software, what are we paying for?
Yeah.
And have a line on strictly subscriptions.
I'd like to understand Worcester retirement too. I'd just like to know, you know, because we sometimes forget that when you hire a new employee, you've got, that's part of your benefit package. You are now making another cost
Yeah,
in that area, and I don't think we understand what the impact is on some of these line items when you hire another person. It's not just your salary in the line item budget, but there are all of these other things that cascade down. And as we start looking at, you know, the Gilbertville Library, for example, or, you know, highway workers, I mean, we gotta understand that the number we got budgeted may not very well be the number we might be anticipating coming up. So I'd just like to understand who's in and who's out, and what that impact is when we make a decision to hire somebody.
and to Mark's
So,
point, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What,
To Mark's point, when you hire a full-time employee, just automatically add another 25,000 in
Yeah,
your
but
head.
we need to know what those,
Yeah,
because
So-
we just breaking that down, helping us understand that number to the same level that Kevin did with the police, it's perfect.
Gotcha.
We'll move through this a lot faster.
so let's plan on doing that and leave highway out. This is gonna be a long meeting.
Okay.
When do you want to do it? In a week, in 2
Yeah,
weeks?
what's your availability?
Chris, are you going to the Pathfinder meeting next Wednesday?
I can't, I'm tied up next Wednesday.
We have a Wednesday annual meeting at the co-op, but that's the 18th.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, we all have
We're
a
all
meeting.
gonna be there.
Yeah, we'll all be there.
I can send you the details.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll send you the details.
And I did on the boiler thing, not to get off track,
You wanna try
I
for
did
next
see
week?
that somebody in
I
town
can't
was
next
passing
week.
around
No.
something they wanted.
Well, if we
more
could-
information on what we should have been boiling.
Yeah, I mean, we
If
want to
they-
keep
if they
it
wanna
moving. I guess
contact me
the
directly,
goal
they
is to
can
be,
get my email.
be through this well before
And
the
maybe
school
between
hits
their
us with their.
marketing.
But don't hold up,
We have
you know,
made
if
a
you guys can
place
still
for
meet, meet.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, you don't need me there to,
As long as we got a quorum, we should
yeah,
be
you
all
know,
set.
quorum.
Sorry, what day?
Do it next week, the 11th.
Oh, we're gonna be at Pathfinder,
On what day?
the 11th.
Okay.
You wanna do Monday? You said Monday instead of our, it's an
Well,
off
we-
week for us as selectmen.
Right, that's what I'm saying, like, instead of the following Monday, a week from this Monday.
Monday, all right?
I can't do anything next week.
Monday,
Not
March.
next week, but a
16th.
week from Monday.
16th. The 16th I can do.
Oh, I'm open, so I can make it.
Glenn,
One-
is that all right?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah, so.
I'll still be in.
Okay.
Yeah, we can try to get Leon to come here,
Yeah.
make sure that he's available to.
Can we do
So
it at
would you like me to
6:30?
send you an email, Justine, or you gonna get this stuff, with, like, as far as the expenses?
I haven't.
And-
Right now, I can talk about any of them.
Okay,
And one thing, there's,
because like HR expense, $1,000.
I can tell you.
and some of the historical
She'll be ready.
actuals, because I'm not sure whether I'm looking in the wrong place, but it looks like 24, 24, 24, 24, 24. Is that,
What?
some of the
About if you
actual
come when you
things,
can.
like what we actually
Oh, I
spent,
can make it.
says it just looks like some of the numbers are the same
Well,
for
why
the
don't you
last
come in at 6:15?
Yes.
23,
We'll
24,
start with
25,
But she's gonna
26.
need those
We can-
tabs,
The two
so
of
at
us
least
can
some
make
of
a
them.
quorum.
Okay, where are the tabs in the book?
I can make it.
Yeah,
But like legal services, we just
I have the last four years legal right here.
okay.
You bring
And the
something
last
to-
Yeah,
four
that'll
years
be-
of IT.
then it's a
So this
lot.
just shows budget, so that would be
Yeah.
the actual.
we can ask for those
Yep,
actuals
okay.
at that meeting.
That's great.
Warren, anything else you want, just email me.
I will. That's-
Also, an update on the audit that's going on.
Yeah.
Have they completed it?
No, we're almost done with our FY25 audit.
No.
So, probably in a few weeks.
Okay,
They just need a few more information about the USDA project.
okay.
No, it's going,
Any surprises,
no,
anything?
it's going much better than last year.
Okay, all right, good, good.
Okay, 16th, a Monday, 6
Yep.
o'clock.
Sure.
16th, I'm gonna mark it down right
For,
now.
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion that-
We're done.
Okay.
Eric, when is the general public gonna be able to weigh in?
All in favor?
For these kinds of talks,
Town meeting.
I was thinking of leaving
Thanks,
a
everybody.
bunch of index cards. So you could leave ideas and you could take them up at the next
6
meeting.
PM.
Well, I mean, you know, cause,
Yep.
right, I mean, and I don't probably have total all the same numbers that you folks do, but I'm seeing $200,000 more than last year.
Okay, well,
Okay,
That
so,
would make sense, that's what we're seeing.
yeah, so we
196,000.
So you obviously haven't started going through here and started cutting things,
we
right?
haven't, we just started tonight.
Just looking
Okay,
at tonight.
all right, well, no, all right,
Oh, yeah,
that's,
we gotta first understand the numbers,
yeah.
and then we have, again,
Okay.
like I said, the denominator is gonna be, you know, that revenue stream, we're not even clear on that yet.
Right, exactly, I mean, so, you know, I mean, it's looking like this is not a 2.5, it means it's going to be an override, and that's.
Well, we, you know, you increase revenue and decrease expenses and or override.
We can always try to increase revenue.